there's that discussion to be had of, if you eat meat, whether animals have had steroids, does that then pass down? Because that was my take on that. That was my intuitive take, was like, wow, he's jacked, he's eating the local beef. And the conversation with him that I had, it just seemed like that was. And if you ever walk through, or if you're ever in America, or you go through an airport, almost any airport in America, and you see some the size of some of the people there, and the size of some of the asses and the hips, and you're like, how is that natural? It's genetically modified. And whether it's, I don't imagine those people are doing steroids, but it's the genetic modification of the animals, to the steroids put in the animals, to the people eating it. There's some trickle down effect. So fundamentally, we're all inorganic. But if you're at this current society we live in, if you're choosing to, opting to inject, and however way that you take $12,000 per month worth of steroids to look the way you are, to promote a lifestyle, and then to say, which we'll get to in a minute in his apology video, that there's a time and a place for steroids. There's a time and a place to not be natural, and that's when I deem that it's okay to not be natural. That's what it kind of came down to. But for me, steroids is a lie, because it's fake, even if you admit it. Like, whoever, you know, some people, I guess there's not even that many, but within the industry, that will admit it, it's still a lie. The same way that to be real is to be truthful, to be fake is to be living a lie. So I guess we can, that's the whole conversation to be had, is like assessing why people feel the need to alter the way they look. And fundamentally, that's going to come down to insecurity, like not faith in the way we're designed, not self-love enough in just things as they are, that you feel that you will earn love from other people, which we can, go right back to. It fundamentally, it comes to our parents. That's what I feel like with my dad and my sporting endeavors, to earn love from my dad, because that's how he showed me love. So this, we can all come back to parents, but either way, we cannot go that deep. We can just say it's to earn respect from other humans, from other people, from other men, because we look a certain way. And then when we get compliments on that, we feel that that's love, but then it never actually fills that void. We're just constantly having to chase that feeling even more, and chase more approval and more followers, and more income, to go on more podcasts with people that we respect, and get our voice, our names in, spoken about by people that we want to be talking about us. And that's kind of what it all comes down to with the Liver King. And not just the Liver King, so many influences in general, so much of the fitness industry in general, myself, I throw myself in there. It's certainly at heightened times in the past, there is a narcissistic element that comes from an insecurity and a desire to want to prove ourselves, to want to be someone, to want to be known, to want to be a savior. There's a certain messiah complex within many people, and I think that's within the Liver King as well. He wants to be seen as the one to bring this diet, to bring this lifestyle to people at whatever cost, even if it means lying here or there, one or two lies along the way, because the message is more important and the goal is more important. Well, for me, I won't accept that, especially the knowing that you're lying, knowing that you're flat out lying, and then to still to justify that as though that's okay. I mean, I'm not the decider, and everyone's going to do what they want to do. So it's even unloving of me to have any expectations of people in any way, or to have any demands on how people act, or to feel a certain way. That's just for me to feel and not project. But he, in his apology video, so I watched his apology on Instagram, and it was one of the world's worst apologies I've ever seen. And then my friend Lewis said, oh, he's done an apology on YouTube as well. So I thought, before I do this talk, I was gonna last night I was lying in bed, and I was like, you know what, I want to just get on a microphone and just talk about this situation and just put it out there, even if it's just 100 people, 200 people. You guys, I appreciate you for just digging deep in, just to be, I don't know, however you've been able to come across this podcast. But I thought, let me just watch this video. And he basically justifies lying because people are killing themselves and people are hurting in society, and men are committing suicide, and so that justifies him lying because it can help get people out. And while I'm not denying that he may have helped people, and he has definitely inspired people in some ways, when it's built off a lie, how far, like, is that help going to go? Because it's not built off love. If there's not truth involved, there's not love involved. If it's a lie, then there's a lack of love involved, and there's a lack of respect, because you feel like, well, I'll just keep that lie to myself because people couldn't handle the truth or whatever. There's a lack of, so it's like, what his whole thing that it's built off, it might have inspired people in the short term, but if, as he himself is admitting in the emails, that he doesn't sleep that great, that he doesn't feel that good, like in himself, that he's tired a lot, and then he's overworking with he's overtraining with these West Side workouts that he's doing, and then having to do steroids to maintain energy levels and recovery and whatever else it is, because he's literally addicted to training, and admits that pretty much in the apology video, that he's addicted to training and didn't feel that good, and so pretty much says has to use steroids, and that there's a time and a place for it, and his situation warrants it, and that the steroids have helped him out a lot. Well, then it's not the diet and the lifestyle that's helped him out a lot. So the whole house of cards is built off of a lie. And so, like I say, yes, it may have inspired people in the short term, but in the long term, when there's arrogance, when there's lying, when there's deception, there's so many holes, there's so many blind spots, there's so many holes, that the foundations aren't in place, and the foundations aren't based off of love then, and they're not based off of trust, and they're not based off of truth. So it's only limited anyway. So if you have to help people in the short term, those people are gonna relapse when either they see a lie like this come out, or then down the line when the truth that your lifestyle isn't actually the full healing lifestyle that you claim it to be. It's a matter of time. And not to say that buying time isn't valuable, but buying time based off a lie. Whereas we look up to people who are deeply emotionally injured and narcissistic, which I'm not saying I've not been that guy in the past, and I'm not still having to work, got a lot of work to do to do this. I'm still choosing to put myself on camera and to share my opinion for some reason, and I don't fully understand the motives, but I feel like, having been someone that's been down these paths and been somewhat of an influence and been in the health and nutrition and fitness industry, that maybe an alternate voice might be worth sharing. One thing he said was the path to paradise is he believes the path to paradise is paved in hell, and I think that is a justification of pain inside, and to justify his attempts to run away from the pain, the little hurt boy inside, that feels he needs to prove himself to the world to get love, that feels he needs to earn it. I think a lot of people can relate, but the path that he's chosen to take is not the path to recovery. It's not the path to health. It's not the path to healing. For me, the only solution I've found that's actually given me some faith and long-term results is the studying divine truth. And this isn't here to promote that. I'm just saying that's the narrow path. That's the narrow path that so many of us, find. I don't know. I can't speak for other people, but that's the path. That's the hard path. It's not paved in hell. We're already in. Many of us are already living in hell. We just don't really realize it because we're surrounded by misery loves company. But the path to paradise is through love, right? And love doesn't just mean happiness. It means truth, and it means the truth of the pain that some of us are existing in, and surrendering to that and feeling into that. And I'm someone who's like a fraction down that path, but I can recognize that it's the truer path. It's the path for the soul, rather than the physical trying to alter every bit of, you know, it's the radiation from the Wi-Fi, it's the chemicals in the food, it's the sunlight, it's this, it's that, it's everything physical, but not the soul. And the soul is where the work, if we want true salvation, if I can use that word, and to truly heal and to not be constantly chasing these new discoveries that for the short term you get there's this cycle of discovery, right, where you discover something new and you're like, it makes so much sense, it hits the intellect, all the intellectual light bulbs go off, boom boom boom, and then all the physical and the evidence in the body is like, yeah, like there's some buzz that happens, like the chakra wheels are start spinning because of the excitement in the head and the addictive chemicals going off, and then you feel better, you feel like this is the thing that's healing me, and then eventually you feel like an addict and you're chasing that feeling again, and you're like, well, the thing that I believed was healing me isn't working anymore, and so what is it, what's happening? And then you discover a new thing, and then you get into the whole cycle again. So there's that cycle of discovery that he's someone who's in, and then he's decided to share all this stuff and been very good at marketing and made a lot of money off of it, but fundamentally it was built off of a lie. And there's some really deep emotional wounds there driving the whole thing, driving the whole action. And bless him, like I hope he figures it out. I hope he figures it out, but it feels like the apology was just another chance. Oh, oh, sorry, Felix is calling me. I'll call you back in a minute, Felix. It felt like the apology was just another chance to say, you know, real men own up to their stuff. It's like, you know, okay, you're owning up to an apology to try and twist. Anyway, I won't go too far into that. But there are people out there like Troy Casey, the certified health nut, Tony Riddle, you know, who have been about this life a lot longer, a lot less cartoonish in their approach and clickbaity in who they are. That I'd say are maybe healthier to look up to in that industry. And if you're looking for people like that, or even, you know, my friend Josh, who I did the podcast with, you know, many of you might know him, with Ape, you know, his products are organic and, you know, farm raised, and there's integrity there. Whereas with this, it's like, if he's lying about his steroids, what else with the business is he lying about? The quality of the products and how the animals are treated to create those products, the integrity of everything. It's like I say, it should be a house of, well, I can't say should, but it's a house of cards. But again, if people are desperate, people are searching, here's a guy that came looking a certain way that other people with the same emotional injuries about themselves and the way they look and the way they feel bought into it. And I just hope those people that follow him find better role models, or for me, divine truth, Jesus, the greatest teacher of soul mechanics on earth. That's what I'd recommend. But yeah, that's it really. I just wanted to talk on Liver King. I thought there's people like David Goggins I've got an interesting take on, I'd like to share as well. And just whatever situations arise, this is just going to be a platform for me to share sort of topical thoughts on things. So thank you for listening. Again, I've made like a separate YouTube channel, which will just be for these, which I'm not going to promote or anything. It will just to put it out on YouTube. So there's a video if people want to watch a video of me sat in a purple cape because it's kind of cold right now on my Moroccan sofa. But yeah, thanks for watching or listening, and appreciate you. Feel free to drop me a message if you listen to this, if you got any thoughts on the situation as well. And much love to you all. Godspeed.